I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think it's impossible to take somebody seriously when they have a Yahoo email account. Just say it could just be me. It has absolutely nothing to do with anything I'm going to talk about today. It just sort of came up as I was beginning the recording. I said came up. Yeah, that's cool, Beavis. Yeah, it came up. Yeah, maybe it came up. Yeah, came.
You can scream and shout with all your might.
Oh, you can scream, shout, whine, cry, snivel, piss, and moan.
Dig in your heels and hold on tight.
You can shove your opinion up your ass. That way Obama's head has something to keep it company. I mean, his cock, whatever. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I do know this, however. I do know that there is a third option. You could be wrong, and I could be right. It happens more often than you think it does. It happens so amazingly often that it's become commonplace. I've come to the point where I just accept that pretty much everything I say is going to be right. I just say shit and I keep going. And this right here that you're listening to right now, this is stating the obvious. It is the weapons platform from which I launched the cruise missile of my intellect that homes in on and destroys stupid motherfuckers all around the world. Left-wing statist, right-wing statist, bi-wing statist, mono-wing statist, tri-wing statist, fixed-wing statist, rotating wing statist, whatever kind of wing statist you are, you will fall a victim to the cruise missile of my intellect. It's a nuclear-tipped cruise missile. This is another edition of Stating the Obvious, working on the pile in the middle of the floor here that I have talked about. I have to say, in the last episode, I made some pretty damn good progress. For each thing that I read, I threw about 7 in the trash can, which is really hard for me because I'm really culling through this and forcing myself to only talk about the really important stuff or the really funny stuff. Today is, what is today? Today's the 22nd of January 2014 here in Fort Collins, Colorado. Snowed last night. A couple inches of snow out there. My favorite thing, as those of you who listen to the podcast on a regular basis know how much I hate snow. Actually, I don't mind snow when I don't have to go out in it. Sadly, later on today, I have to go out and actually work for a living. I know, that shit sucks. I have to go, because I don't get welfare checks and I don't get WIC payments and I don't get food stamps, I have to go out and actually create value for other people by exchanging goods and services and knowledge and experience, and therefore making money so that I can actually buy food with that, as opposed to going to the grocery store with my fucking food stamp card and getting pissy with the cashier when she doesn't know how to process my little fucking welfare plastic. But that's a reference to a podcast I did a while back. That was one of my favorite anarchy moments. If I remember right, it was called White Trash on Food Stamps. And yeah, that was definitely one of it actually got a comment on YouTube. I pretty much, for those of you who don't know, I have a YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is always behind the podcast. I mean, the stuff gets posted on the YouTube channel months sometimes after it comes out here on the podcast. So stick with the podcast for the latest and the greatest. The YouTube is just sort of a way to get my stuff out there on YouTube. I don't put a lot of effort into it, and I don't respond to replies on it, because I've talked before about how people who comment on YouTube videos are among the stupidest people on the planet. And you can see that in many of the comments on my YouTube videos. Not that there's many of them, which is fine, because again, it's just, I'm not going to spend time on it. But anyway, on that particular video, well, podcast, it's in video format, some moron left to comment something to the effect of, why was I picking on white trash on food stamps? What about all the black people on food stamps? And the reason I'm picking on white trash on food stamps, not black people on food stamps, is because this was based on a real situation. And the two people standing in front of me with their fucking food stamp cards were both white men. That's why I was picking on white trash, specifically white men who are on food stamps. That would be the reason. All right. Anyway, just throwing that out. That has nothing to do with anything that's happening today. We are continuing with the pile. By we, I mean myself and the voices in my head. I am on my own for this one. This is like my punishment. Randy's making me do these by myself to get this over with. Because, doing the podcast and hitting the pause button and having to fend for myself and not having Randy here to keep me on track and on target, it's really kind of boring and depressing. Actually, it's not. It's fantastic because I love hearing the sound of my own voice and I love talking about anarcho-capitalism. But still, it's way more fun when the lovely and adorable Randy is here with me, even though she is a Republican. All right. Anyway, what else do I need to do? I need to tell you that the email address, if you want to send me pictures or love mail or hate mail, remember, pictures of cute girls in volleyball uniforms is always encouraged. And it should be you, and don't send pictures of somebody else. You send those to God at cynlibsoc.com. That's dog spelled backwards, God, G-O-D. And, of course, the website is cynlibsoc.com. All right. And the last one, I did promise you that in the next episode, that would be this episode right here, you would get another edition of Ask E. Gene from Elle Magazine. And yes, here it is. Let's read these questions. Let's read these questions and talk about girls. Yes, I know. I've been talking about girls a lot lately. I'm talking about girls. Anyway, let me just read it. See, Randy would be holding up the sign right now saying, stay on topic, dumbass. But I'm not staying on topic because I have no adult supervision. All right, here we go. The first one. Dr. Deranged. Oh, dear E. Gene, when I visited the ER, I'd sprained my wrist. The doctor and I seemed to feel a genuine connection and spark. He was in his early 30s, good-looking, professional. I assumed he was involved with someone, but he seemed nervous. I was too, and when he asked if I had a boyfriend, I was so flustered I just said yes, but I didn't. Okay, so first thing. This is why, when you're a man, this is why you don't even ask women if they have a boyfriend, because women will always lie about it. Here we see a case where she's saying she was attracted to the guy. He asked, do you have a boyfriend? And she said yes, even though she didn't, even though she was attracted to him. Women, girls, chicks, broads, whatever you want to call them, none of them are going to ever say, I don't have a boyfriend. Because if they don't have a boyfriend, that means no man wants them. And if a man doesn't want them, then that means they have no sense of self-worth. Now, yes, you're going to say there are some other, yes, like the lesbians who aren't lying if you're into girls and you don't, like, right, a lesbian isn't going to have a boyfriend. Wait, did I get my logic convoluted there? The girls will always say yes, they will never say no. Right, yes. Except for, God, I had to fucking think. It hurt. Except for if a chick is a lesbian and you say, do you have a boyfriend? Well, of course she's going to say no. She's not into men. So she has no fucking reason to lie about it. Right? So this is why in many cases, some cases, you can expect more honesty from a lesbian than you can from a normal chick. A normal chick. Let me rephrase. Not a normal chick. Because there's no such thing. A straight chick. Well, actually, as I've discussed before, actually all women are bisexual. So you can expect more honesty from a lesbian woman than you can a bisexual woman. All right, anyway, let me move on to the point. The point is, all chicks are going to say they have a boyfriend even when they don't. This is called, what is it? Say it with me. Lying. What is it women always say they value the most in a relationship? Trust. Ask any woman, what is it you want from a man? What do you value in a relationship? She'll throw out some other stuff, but somewhere in that list will always be honesty. They're always honesty. It's always big with the girls. They don't have any of it, but it's always big with them. kind of like my cock. It's always big with the girls, but they don't have one. All right, anyway. Whoa, God, that was fucking lame. I really thought about not saying that. But then I remembered that I have no fucking filter. All right. Woo, let's go back to reading this. Fast forward a couple of years. A couple of years. I've recently discovered that I've been followed by several private investigators hired by the doctor. I was informed of this by one of them who didn't seem to like the doctor much. I then hired my own investigator. I went to the police, but they were no help, and it turns out the doctor has set up private investigators as tenants in the townhouse across from mine that was for rent, and he's ordered me to be videotaped going in and out. Point number one, for those of you who are statist, she went to the police didn't give a fuck. So explain to me again how the government protects you. Explain to me again how the police are there for your protection. Okay, point number two. So where did she get help? From the free market. Or for the freedom fiends, the market. She went to a private investigator. Somebody who works for hire. Somebody for whom exchanges his talents and time and knowledge for money. She went to the market to get a solution. Point number three. The government, last time I checked, is listening to everybody's phone calls. There are cameras in public that record everything you do. What's the big deal? I mean, Hussein Obama and the NSA monitor virtually everything you do. What's wrong with this doctor monitoring everything you do? Now, that question was, some of you might have figured out that was sarcasm. This doctor is a fucking psycho. Why you write into E. Gene and ask for advice on this, I don't know. Maybe you're stupid. The guy's a fucking psycho. I mean, really? He hired private investigators and put them in the house across from hers? And this is why I emphasized a couple of years. This is maybe the week after they met, if he wants to have the PI stalk her to find out whether or not she really has a boyfriend. I mean, I can almost, and when I say almost, I mean not fucking really, but almost excuse that. It's years later, and this psycho has people fucking filming her coming and going in her own home. What the fuck? And this guy's a doctor in an ER. There's medical school and public education for you. All right, anyway, let me read the last paragraph of this. The police say that hiring PIs is legal, and it is, and photographing private citizens in public is okay, and it is. I mean, legally, according to the government, according to the state, according to the police who are protecting you from crime, according to Hussein Obama, like I said, the government films you in public all the goddamn time. Anyway, let me go back to reading. The doctor seemed so nice, so normal. However, what he's done and is still doing is not normal. We did seem to like each other, but I'm too nice a person and I'm afraid to confront him and tell him to stop. I imagine he'll deny everything. I don't know what to do. I've been told my beauty is intimidating to guys. Is he so fearful of rejection this is all he could think to do? No, honey, it's not because... See, and here we go. Listen to the ego of the woman right here. He's doing all of this. He's fucking has PIs filming me coming and going from my townhome because my beauty is so intimidating. I mean, there is some fucking hamster wheel rationalization for you. No, honey, no. The reason he's doing this is because he's a fucking psycho. It's not because you're so beautiful. I mean, what kind of fucking delusionary world are you living in? Okay, next one. Dear E. Jean, I am obsessed with achieving the only career I've ever wanted, being a wife and mother. I think about it at least 1,000 times a day. A life without those two things makes me want to swallow a handful of pills pronto. Meanwhile, my other career is running along nicely. I have a PhD, live comfortably, and work on a flexible schedule. All this I planned ahead so I could be home with my future husband and children. I have a great salary and plenty of free time. However, rather than building a life and family with someone I love, as I had envisioned, I spend a lot of time alone, miserable, and trying to meet men. I'm 31. Is this the point where I give up on my dream and start using my energy to pursue alternative ideas and lifestyles? I can't live this sad, pathetic existence any longer. I have to wonder what exactly is completely wrong with this woman, because 31 isn't young, but it isn't old, and she has a PhD and a great job. And you get, well, maybe my beauty, maybe my PhD is so intimidating that men won't talk to me. Well, only if you throw it in their face. Sadly, I can't really speak to whatever behavior she's doing, but fucking go where there's some men at. Jesus, honey. I mean, again, I've said this so many times. Those are for you women. Every time I hear some woman talking about how she can't meet a man, that tells me there's something seriously wrong with her. Because I've said this before. Here are the things you have to do if you're a woman and you want to meet men. Okay, step number 1, have a vagina. Okay, if you're a woman, you've already got a vagina, most likely. If you're a woman and you don't have a vagina, that's different, and that, okay. But most likely, you got a vagina already. Okay, so you're a woman. You want to meet men. You've got a vagina. Step number 1 accomplished. Step number 2, go outside of your home to a place where there are men. Men are fairly common. You go out on the streets, you can go in supermarkets, you can go in bars, you can go in art museums, you can go in coffee shops, you can go to all sorts of places, and there are men in those places. Step number 3, put down your fucking cell phone. Step number 4, if a man looks at you or even speaks to you, do not immediately start screeching about rape culture and the patriarchy. Smile and talk to him. I mean, that's it. You're done. Those 4 fucking things. Have a vagina, go outside, put down the cell phone, don't fucking screech about the patriarchy anytime a man looks in your direction. If you do those 4 things, you will meet men. It's not that fucking hard. And the fact that somebody with a PhD can't figure that out tells you the status of the school system. Next up, I'm pretty sure if someone flirts with me, no wait, I'm not sure, I'll try that one again. I'm not sure if I'm pretty. Now, far be it from me to point out that over and over it has been said that women are incredibly insecure creatures who are mostly concerned with being reassured for their own validation and getting attention all the time. But this couldn't possibly offer evidence for the truth of that statement. Okay, let me read this. I'm not sure if I'm pretty. If someone flirts with me, I think, yes, I must not be disgusting. But if a guy goes for one of my friends, I think, no, I'm ugly. How can I not be so all over the place with my confidence? And this is exactly why women hang out with other women who are uglier than they are, because every woman wants to be the cutest girl in the pack so that she will get attention from men. And this is why, oh God, have I ever said this before? I don't know, 1,000 fucking times? This is why women tell other women, oh, it doesn't matter how fat you are. He should love you no matter how much you weigh. Oh, you would look so cute if you had really short hair. You should get all your hair cut off and do like a little pixie cut. Oh, you'd be so cute. Because they're saying those things to you so that you will do these things like cut off your hair and get fat so that you will be less attractive than them, because, as I've said before, women compete with each other by dragging each other down, right? No woman is going to do effort to make herself more attractive when she can put effort into making the other women around her less attractive. That's how women elevate themselves. All right, next up. This is truly, this is just great. And the ladies will be happy to hear. This one has nothing to do with girls. All right, listen to this. This is a guy. Well, yes, this is a male. This is somebody with a penis writing in. I hesitate to call him a man. That's why I'm not going to do it. Dear E. Jean, No, you're going to laugh when you hear this, man. You're going to laugh, okay? Just wait for it. Oh, my God. Hold on. I got to catch my breath. All right, breathe. Oh, wait. What did Stefan Molyneux do? Okay. All right. Stefan Molyneux has nothing to do with this. This is not a letter from Stefan Molyneux. All right, here we go. Dear E. Jean, I've decided to sell my virginity. Though I'm a guy, the first man to attempt such an auction, and a proud member of the LGBT community, identifying as bisexual, I'm following in the footsteps of several women who've sold their virginities online. Each girl received offers of $1.5 million or more. Natalie Dillon was offered $3.7 million by an Australian man for a one-night stand. You wrote about her in one of your columns, October 2009. I hope to be featured on the cover of at least one magazine, write a guest column for Elle, and make a coffee table book with an accompanying film documenting the auction. But the main goal of my virginity auction is to locate an honorable, admirable partner and engage in a serious relationship. Someone who is passionate enough to spend millions. I can't. I'm trying to get through this without laughing. I can't do it. Holy shit. Talk about an attention whore with a self-inflated sense of self-worth and value. I'm going to sell my virginity online to somebody who's willing to spend millions of dollars and enter a serious relationship with me. Someone who is honorable and admirable. I mean, holy shit. Can you get any more metrosexual than this? Let me read the last bit. Whoa. You know, and it's like, and this is worthy of a film. He wants to make a film and a coffee table book. I mean, really, exchanging your virginity for money is so important and so engrossing that this is going to make a movie? My ideal Hollywood bidder would be someone like David Geffen. As for my ideal lady, I am interested in a talented performer like Lady Gaga or Keisha. All right, wait a minute. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. Talented performer and Keisha in the same sentence? All right, this person is obviously stupider than I thought. I mean, look, Lady Gaga is weird, but has good choreography and shit, okay? Keisha, every Keisha song I've ever heard is about her getting drunk and getting fucked by random men in the alley behind the bar. She is not a talented performer. She is a fucking slut. Alright, can you please print my Twitter handle so people can contact me? Signed, offering more than a one-night stand. P.S. I'm also proposing a special edition sex toy molded in my likeness, commemorating my auction. Now, I know many of you out there are really disappointed, but Eugene did not print his Twitter handle, so I can't give it to you. I know many of you out there were, when you heard please print my Twitter handle, you were grabbing for a piece of paper and a pencil to write that down so you could get in touch immediately. Because, I mean, come on, guys and girls. he's a catch. And he only wants, 1.5 million or more. Wow. All right. That was the E gene. I'll be back in a minute with something else. What's up, bitches and bitchettes? I'm back. I got a stack here. This is a bunch of stuff from my hometown newspaper. For those of you who don't know from previous podcasts, my hometown is a little place in Texas called Weimar. Has 2,000 people in it. That is not the answer to any of the security questions on any of my accounts. It's always great when people are like, yeah, this is the hometown I'm from. Then you go to hack their Google account and the security question pops up. What is the name of your hometown? Well, geez, since you just told everybody, it's not much of a security question, is it? This is all from the Weimar Mercury. Whoa, shit, I'm falling over backwards. I'm not even drinking. Christ, on a stick. Anyway, this is just some random tidbits. Oh, wait, fuck, I didn't finish reading this one and prepping it. All right, hold on. All right, I'm back. Yes. So apparently there's something called SWIFT. I don't know what SWIFT stands for. And SWIFT is part of the AmeriCorp, which is the little, Nazi brown shirt faction of the government. It's where the state gets stupid people in there and convinces them that only the government can solve problems. Because these people are statists, and statists by nature are insecure and have no morals. That's why they're statists, because if you are secure about who you are, and if you have morals, if you understand the non-aggression principle or the zero aggression principle, and if you understand the concept of property rights, and if you're competent and capable of working for other people and exchanging value so that you can pay your own bills and buy food and everything, then you don't need the state, you don't need the government. Anyhow, what's important here is that there are 21 SWIFT tutors who completed their training, and there's a picture of them. So these little SWIFT AmeriCorp, they're all girls, of course. They're all in AmeriCorp. They're all wearing their little Obama t-shirts. It says with the A on it for AmeriCorp. I just want to point out that of these 21 girls, all of them except for 3 of them are fat. That's all you need to know about the AmeriCorp. It's an organization which exists so as to help fat people have self-esteem. This is what I don't like about Texas. I love Texas. I don't like the statism in Texas. It's a police state, as you will actually hear from pretty much everything else I'm going to read. So in Weimar now, apparently there is a curfew at night. Where are all the fucking feminazis who, it's a woman's body and it's a woman's choice? Well, why is it not a woman's choice to fucking go out after 11 p.m.? So apparently there is a curfew now for people under the age of 17. Apparently they don't have a choice with their body anymore. And the curfew is from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. Sunday through Thursday. And on Friday and Saturday, it's midnight to 6 a.m. So apparently, if you're a woman in Weimar, Texas, you don't have a choice as to when you can go outside of your own home with your body. If you're 17 or younger, where are the feminazis on this? Where are the women's libbers? Blah, blah, blah. What's this on the floor? Do I need that? Yes, I do need that. As I just mentioned, Texas is a police state. They love them some drug war. They love them some police state. They also love them some DUIs, because that's an easy, quick way to make money. I've talked before about how the whole DUI thing is essentially just a scam for the criminal justice prison industrial complex to make money. So here's a few little things. This is law enforcement plans DWI crackdown for July 4th holiday. Hey, this is actually from the year 2013. Unlike some of the shit I read in the last one from 2011. How the newer stuff got on bottom of the pile and the older stuff on top, I don't know. It's some kind of tectonic plates thing or something. This pile is so big. It has its own fucking geography and geology in this pile of shit on the floor. I wouldn't be surprised if I found a volcano in there. Hell, there's probably oil in the goddamn thing. There's probably some cockroaches got trapped in there and crushed and they've rotted. I could fucking set up an oil rig and sell the shit. Alright, anyway. An oil derrick. Excuse me, it's not a rig. I should know that. I used to work in the industry. All right. Many areas will be using the No Refusal Initiative. This initiative legally requires a suspected impaired driver who is pulled over to provide law enforcement with a breath or blood sample. Drivers who refuse to provide a breath sample will be taken to jail or a hospital where they will be forced to provide a blood sample. So where is the my body, my choice people at on this? And of course, those of you who think that, so if the police think you're impaired, you have to give up part of your body to prove you're not. And if you don't, they're going to put you in a cage. And to those of you out there who are statist, you don't see anything wrong with this, and you don't see how this is an initiation of force. And of course, we have some quote-unquote statistics. I've talked before about one of my favorite books. It's called How to Lie with Statistics. You need to read it. In 2012, there were 1,099 fatalities in Texas involving drivers who were legally drunk at the time of the crash, having a blood alcohol concentration of 0.08 grams per deciliter or higher. 26 alcohol-related deaths occurred in Texas during the 4th of July holiday period last year. Now, of course, as I pointed out before, any automobile incident where somebody is drinking is considered alcohol-related. So again, if there's two drivers and they have the wreck, but there's a passenger in one of the cars and the passenger is the one who's drunk, that is put in the statistics as alcohol-related. Second of all, so 26 alcohol-related deaths. Notice how they didn't say deaths in automobile accidents. They kind of leave that out. So they imply that these 26 alcohol-related deaths occurred in the context of drinking and driving, but they don't say that because it's probably not true. And there's also, of course, the kind of having a blood. They were legally drunk at the time of the crash. Well, what about people who were not legally drunk? How many people had crashes last year that weren't drunk? We don't get these statistics for a reference. How many people the previous year had wrecks when they were drunk? How many the year before that? How many the year before that? How is this trending over time? But of course, any of utilizing and presenting any of that information might make these statistics appear to be less scary than they are. I mean, how many people live in the state of Texas? The fact that in the state of Texas, in the entire fucking state, in an entire year, there were only 1,099 people who died in automobile wrecks that involved in one way or another alcohol. I mean, I hate to break it to you, but that's a lot less people than Hussein Obama killed that year using flying robots. It is safer, statistically speaking, to be driving a car drunk in Texas than it is to be a brown person in Afghanistan. I don't hear any outrage about brown people getting killed by flying robots. Country AgriLife Extension agent James Pfeiffer, I do not know what an AgriLife Extension agent is either, reminds you that, quote, death is not the only consequence from impaired driving. Often people have a hard time recuperating financially from the cost of the arrest or the crash itself, unquote. Here's why you should not drive drunk. Because the cost of getting arrested for driving drunk is really high. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Well, gee, what if they just stopped harassing people and arresting them? What if the whole DUI thing was not a financial scam to separate people from their money? Of course, the cost of getting arrested for DUI is financially exorbitant. That's the entire point. It's an easy way for the police force to make money without really having to do anything. And it's one that's acceptable, right? I mean, the police force can't charge people thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Example, for going out in public in a bikini, or for driving a red car, or for whatever, because those things are listening to Justin Bieber music, although they should be able to do that, because doing that is not socially acceptable. But it's totally socially acceptable to bend people over the financial barrel and booty fuck the shit out of them if they were driving drunk. So that's why there's a big push to catch drunk drivers, because people are totally okay with the financial cost of drunk driving being exorbitantly high, because of course it only happens to other people until it happens to you, and because most people are statist. Here's another one. It's from August 2013. Drink, Drive, Go to Jail campaign aims to curb drunk driving. So this is the name of the campaign. Drink, Drive, Go to Jail. Wow, I wonder who came up with that. I fucking hope they did not hire an advertising agency to come up with that piece of brilliance. During the campaign, select Texas colleges will host a simulated jail cell that allows visitors a harsh glimpse into the consequences of drunk driving. Why would a college campus need a simulated jail cell? Have you ever been in a classroom on a college campus? If you have, I think you know what being in a jail cell looks like. According to Texas DOT statistics, 411 alcohol-related fatalities. Come on, brain. I'm trying to podcast here. I need you to work with me. 411 alcohol-related fatalities occurred in Texas during the 2012 summer months of May through August. Again, no reference point for previous months. There's no mention of why May through August is some magical time period. This is like when you see these things who say that such and such disease is the leading killer of children between the ages of 6 and 12. Okay, what the fuck is magical about 6 and 12? What's magical about 6 and 12 is that that's the age range in which that particular disease is the number one killer. And so that allows the people who are trying to make money claiming they're going to solve this disease, which of course they're not going to do. If they're going to solve it, then it wouldn't exist. But yeah, and this goes back to what I was saying. You can't solve the problem if the problem is your source of income. This is why the government doesn't reduce poverty, because if the government eliminated poverty through the welfare program, then we wouldn't need the welfare program anymore, and then all the people who work for the welfare program would be out of a job. This is why the things like, oh, we're going to eliminate breast, the pink thing, we're going to fix breast cancer. No, they're not, because if they cure breast cancer, and if you can cure breast cancer by getting a shot or getting vaccinated or an easy treatment, then all the people who make their money by talking about curing breast cancer are going to be out of a job. They're not going to put themselves out of a job. Right? PETA doesn't give a fuck about animals. If animals are treated nice, then PETA doesn't have a purpose anymore. They lose their jobs. Same thing with everything. It doesn't matter. I could go on and on for hours with examples. I think you get it. If you don't get it, it's because you're really stupid. Why are you listening to this podcast if you're that dumb? All right. Additionally, during Labor Day holiday reporting period, alcohol-related traffic fatalities more than doubled from 8 in 2011 to 19 in 2012. Oh, there's at least a reference point on that one for once. Again, so whenever you're presented with statistics and data, oh yeah, that's where I was going with that whole thing. Right? Always look at how is these statistics and data being cooked so as to support whatever message the person presenting these statistics and data is trying to sell. Because usually if somebody is throwing statistics and data at you and they're not giving you any kind of reference points, they're not giving you information about defining like what constitutes an alcohol-related accident or such as that, if they're not giving you data such as past data that was gathered in the same way, if they're not giving you any reference points and they're not giving you definitions and they're not explaining to you how this data was actually acquired, you should always be suspicious of its validity. Even when you agree with the premise or the conclusion that it arrives at, you should still be suspicious of it. I mean, I am. I see data all the time which confirms the biases I already have. I see all the time, just like yesterday, I was looking through some stuff online and reading some stuff about this scientific study said such and such, and I completely agreed with it, and I trace it back to the scientific study, and the scientific study is behind a firewall that I need to get through and get a copy of it. But until I read those studies, I'm not going to quote them, talk about them, say I agree with them or disagree with them, because I'm reading an opinion piece written by somebody who read the abstract of the study on the internet. The abstract doesn't necessarily reflect what's actually in the study. I will reserve my judgment until I have read the actual papers from the people who conducted the study. Same thing goes with statistics. You should always reserve your judgments until you've had time to actually examine the statistics. Look at their history, look at how they were measured, look at how they were acquired, look at how they've been analyzed. Look at, are they dealing in percentages or raw numbers? What does it look like in raw numbers? What does it look like in percentages? So forth and so on. Drunk driving among college students continues to be a major problem. Gee, I wonder if that's because the drinking age isn't until 21, and so people spend the first 21 years of their life in this country having no clue how to deal with the fucking drinking a beer, and then they turn 21 and they go crazy. Maybe if we didn't have a drinking age, maybe if the fucking feminist who can't shut the fuck up about my body, my choice would get involved and say, hey, what about 20-year-old women who want to have a glass of wine? It's their body. Why isn't it their choice? Oh, that's right, because the wine is going into their body from a glass. But the choice is only about getting the fetus out of the body with a vacuum cleaner. I forgot. Right. See, in that, those women don't have a choice. Women who want to drink a glass of wine, it's not their body and they don't have a choice. Even if you're 20 years old. But it's the 16-year-olds who need a vacuum cleaner up their cooch to suck out the fetus because they had sex with their boyfriend who's 23. They have a choice. See, and you can't take away their choice because it's their body. All right, anyway. Just, sorry, I'm having fun with the fucking my body, my choice idiots. Who, and again, for those of you who are stupid, let me take a moment to explain. I don't disagree that it's her body and her choice. The part I disagree with is the way the feminazis only apply my body, my choice to getting an abortion. Any other time, the government wants to imprison a woman, lock a woman up, take a woman's money, tell a woman she can't go outside after certain hours, tell a woman she can't drink alcohol, all that shit. All of those times when the government tells women what to do with their bodies, the feminazis are completely fucking A-okay with that. I mean, they love that. That is just fucking fantastic. They're so goddamn happy. The only time a fucking feminazi believes a woman should have a choice is when it involves sticking a vacuum cleaner up her cooch to suck out a fetus. That's it. And that's why I can't fucking stand feminazis. Last year, there were 7,096 vehicle crashes in Texas involving drivers between ages 18 and 24 who were under the influence of alcohol. Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa, wait. Hold on. Hold this on a second. Okay. I had to go back and look at something to make sure. See, this is called checking statistics. The other number over here for the same year was 1,099, but that was crashes involving fatalities. This does not claim to involve fatalities. So I thought for a minute these statistics were conflicting with each other. See, that's what I'm talking about, though. You have to be capable of thinking. When you're reading statistics, you have to be processing this in your mind to look for inconsistencies. And if you don't find the inconsistencies, then that's fine. But you need to be thinking about them and you need to look for them. Those crashes led to 2,181 serious injuries and 2,031 fatalities. The Drink, Drive, Go to Jail campaign includes a simulated jail cell that allows participants to experience jail, receive a fake mugshot, and only be released by a warden after completing a DUI quiz. Oh my God, we're going to train people to allow their mugshots to be taken, and then they're going to be released by a warden. I mean, it's like training people how to be slaves. We're gonna have a simulated cotton plantation. You can come in and you can pick some cotton and we'll give you a simulated beating, and then you'll only be allowed to go free after a simulation of you being hung from a tree by a lynching mob. I mean, how fucking pathetic is this? What kind of fucking idiots would attend this event? I mean, I wonder if they made the college students actually know. It's Texas. Texas is, for those of you who haven't been there, a fucking right-wing police state. I guarantee you lots of college kids voluntarily went to this because down there law enforcement is worshipped. I mean, they just law enforcement. Oh, as a Texas state trooper, oh my God, I'm going to get on my knees and suck his balls. I mean, law enforcement down there, it is a very, very fucking police state, militaristic mindset. People down there just fucking suck this shit up. It's sick. It's absolutely fucking sick. Sick. Along with Texas DOT's drink, drive, go to jail campaign, law enforcement will work thousands of overtime hours as part of the national crackdown effort. Did I mention this is about money? This is a great way for the police and law enforcement people to get overtime, to make money. This whole DUI thing, and you're saying, how can you say that? DUI kills people. No, killing people kills people. Driving while you're drunk doesn't kill anybody. I've talked about this and before. Here's the short version. If you're driving the car and you're drunk and you get home without killing anybody, then that's fine. If you're driving the car and you're drunk and you kill somebody, then you killed somebody. You should be punished, however appropriately your society decides, for killing somebody. The fact that you were drunk at the time shouldn't enter into it. Right? It's just like you get drunk, you rape a woman. It doesn't matter if you were drunk or not, you raped a woman. There's this idea that somehow or another driving your car, like killing somebody, it's just like, what do you call it? Hate crimes. Well, this white person killed that black person because he's racist. It doesn't fucking matter. You either killed somebody or you didn't. Right? When you killed somebody, the fact that you were thinking bad things about them because of their skin color doesn't make them more or less dead. The fact that when you ran over an 8-year-old kid, you were drunk, doesn't make the kid more or less dead. You either killed somebody or you didn't kill somebody. What was going through your brain or what was in your bloodstream should have nothing to fucking do with it. And I understand how hard that is for a lot of you to come to terms with. Because again, this whole driving drunk is evil thing has been so indoctrinated into people through the mechanisms of the state and the propaganda of the state that for you to be able to step back and look at that from a rational point of view is virtually impossible. And finally, here's the last one out of this little batch. Huge marijuana field. So they found approximately 5,771 marijuana plants worth an estimated value of $1 million. And of course, it says here, officers worked all day Tuesday removing and inventorying the plants. Yes, because the drug war is about money. And God forbid those police officers be doing anything useful. I mean, it's a fucking plant. Why are those plants worth $1 million? Ask yourself that. You know why those plants are worth $1 million? Because they're illegal. If those plants were legal, if police officers were not out looking for those plants and spending time to destroy them, you know what those plants would have been worth? Maybe about $10 a pop. The drug war, much like the war on drunk driving, is a self-sustaining machine designed specifically to funnel money to the militarized police force and to give the government excuses for taking more and more power, more and more surveillance, more and more identification cards, more and more checkpoints, more and more stopping points on the roads. And of course, it's an excuse to get more and more people into the criminal justice prison industrial complex. Right? The more crimes you create, the more people that are criminals. The more people that are criminals, the more people you get into the court system. The more people in the court system, the more courtrooms you need, the more judges you need, the more clerks you need, the more lawyers you need, the more people you send to prison, the more prisons you need. The more prisons you need, well, the more guards you need, the more wardens you need, the more janitors you need, the more buildings you need. That's a lot of money to construction companies. All of those prisons need electricity. They need running water. They need food. They need clothing. They need HVAC. They need plumbing. All of this stuff generates a huge amount of economic activity. And again, just like I said with the welfare system, if you eliminate poverty in the United States, all the people who work for the welfare system don't have a job anymore. If you eliminate all the false criminals in our society, everyone who's in prison for bullshit like not paying child support payments for children that aren't theirs, shit like drugs. I mean, if you eliminate all of this shit, false rape accusations, right? If you eliminate all of these so-called crimes and you get all of these people out of prison and you get all of these people out of the court system, then the whole thing just fucking collapses and there's going to be millions and millions of people out of work. Same reason, why do we have to have wars all the time? Why are we still having the flying robots? Why are we still gearing up for a war with some country? Because the military-industrial complex employs a huge number of people. And if we shut down the military-industrial complex, those people lose their jobs. Saw a statistic somewhere, not saying it's true because I can think, even though I have confirmation bias that makes me want to believe it, saw a statistic somewhere that showed that all of the so-called private sector job growth over, and I think it was the last 3 years, but I could be wrong about that because, like I said, I haven't had time to research the validity of this, but its assertion was that all of the private sector job growth in the recent past has all been in the military-industrial complex. Especially now, I mean, they are gearing up. More and more drones are being made. A lot of the military, and of course, Google is working with the government to build assorted military robots. There's a lot of not drone robots, but robots that use like legs and wheels and stuff like that. Things other than the airborne drones. So the military-industrial complex is shifting gears a little bit, but it's still gearing up. It's just that the focus now is going from aircraft carriers and aircraft and nuclear missiles to robotics, to computers, to computer viruses, and to robotic systems that can deliver a payload without, of course, endangering a person, thus making it easier and easier and easier to cut out the middlemen. Because at some point, in an ideal world, as the state, you want to get rid of the actual soldiers and replace them with machines, because soldiers at some point could refuse to obey your orders and murder unarmed civilians, and not murder unarmed civilians. Whereas, of course, robots and drones will kill whoever you order them to kill because they're simply machines. Not, invoking Terminator or anything like that. That would never happen. Total fiction. It's like Star Trek. I mean, nothing on Star Trek ever came through. Cell phones, iPads, Star Trek, total fantasy. 1984, total fantasy. Brave New World, total fantasy. Obviously, Terminator could have no possible basis in reality whatsoever. Things in that movie, nothing like that could ever happen. Were you here in the last episode where I read the thing about the drones getting a virus that the government can't get out of the drones?